This is the audio commentary for Kage, the first track on our EP, and we have today Marc Nair, who did the guest vocals, and he also wrote the words that you'll hear later on the track. So a little bit about Kage is like the first song that we actually wrote. We came to my house, and back then it was like just all of us plugging into a computer. I think we were even using an electronic drum kit, and we were like, okay, yeah, we are gonna write some new songs now, and this was the song that came out from that jamming session. At the end of it, we all thought that this is really just gonna be some instrumental track, but eventually we decided to have some words and tied the whole EP's meaning behind it. So the EP, the songs generally are about trying to be a new person, trying to turn over a new leaf and get things right from anything that you were doing wrong in the past. And before that, I had written my own words, but I didn't feel like it was that great. At the same time, James and I were working with Marc, and then we thought, like, why not get a pro on and deliver a message for us with more power obviously. So Marc, can you tell us more about like what you wrote inside?
So it's a relatively simple lyric, so to speak. I was trying to follow your original words, so there weren't that many words to begin with. So I had to be very concise, and I chose to work with developing the metaphor of a sheet of paper, because the idea of blankness and layering meaning, experience onto it, and how the idea of paper as a medium kind of expands and grows through the course of the song, which is also reflected in the music, which grows in complexity.
Yeah, the music, right, Ernest? Like, we really tried to layer it with the synth and the guitars, and like I think most of it like was your idea. Like, how did you think of envisioning it with the layers?
It actually started off with, like, I remember it was an Ableton session, and then I had this like cool chord progression. So I think from there I sort of envisioned that layers would be something that this song would heavily rely on. So I imagine, like, it's like a building, a building. You start with the foundation, you start with the core elements, and then you build it up with more and more either instruments or textures, or even like just different voicings even. So that is the very fundamental idea of the creation of this song.
Yeah, and Hafi, like, I know that for this particular song you were inspired by Koi Child, right?
Yeah. So the bass line was actually inspired by this song called 159 by Koi Child. So the bass line is basically its root note, the 5th and the 9th note. So I kind of like that it has that old school hip hop vibe, and it turns out sounding intimidating behind those spoken words, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I almost feel like some guy carrying a boombox walking down the street. That vibe.
Yes.
And how about Hakim? Like, I know you were trying, like, overall in this whole EP, you are trying to be challenge yourself as a drummer, right?
Yeah, so for this, I try to go with a more chill approach. But then when I first heard this song, it gives me that very arcade Stranger Things kind of vibe. So I kind of like that electronic feel to it. So when I was writing this song with you guys, I was trying my best to lay out the drum parts to fit in that direction.
Yeah, I think it's like overall all the elements, even though we kind of wrote it together at the start, but when we re-recorded it with James, it kind of like it fell into place very nicely, and the whole idea of layers. And I think, like, even when it comes to thinking about like a paper now, right, like we really filled the paper to the brim.
Yeah, on a side note, I just want to mention that I really love Marc's voice on this song. I don't know what it is about the timbre of your voice. It just fits in just like so perfectly. Yeah, so thanks for being on this song.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
In fact, we recorded this on the back of a different project entirely, and we had a little bit of spare time, and I said, let's just do this, partly because I didn't want to come back again another day, and partly because I felt like the voice had warmed up a bit more, and I understood the intention of the music and kind of maybe modulated the voice a little bit just to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how long did it take to write like everything down to confirm the words that spoke to you? Yeah.
Not very long. I
Couple
think
of days, maybe 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
And some back and forth. A bit of
Yeah.
changes here and there.
I think I only changed one word, which was
Yeah.
the last word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Well, thank you, Marc, for being here. It's great being here during the pandemic with a few people,
No.
faces that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thank you for allowing me to step into your bakery.
Non-existent bakery.